can you ask Mariko?
We've got heads or tails?
Tails, please.
Ooh, tails.
I'll receive.
Receive, okay. So good matchup. First set.
So they're ready to go.
Federer to serve.
Federer.
Ready?
For a place in the semi-finals.
Play. Love 15.
Good start from Mariko. Good depth on the ground strokes. Pushing Federer on the defensive. Backs it up with a second deep ball. Very solid off the ground, especially the backhand.
Love 40. $15, 40.
Still 2 break points for Matosevic.
$30, 40.
Look how Federer gets up and into the serve. His stats always at the end of the year on serve are very good. One of the top half dozen performers in that regard. What a fillip, though, this would be for Matosevic if he could get an early break. So, Todd, you've had a chance to make your way down. Great atmosphere out there on centre court. Gee, it's been a good start for Marinko.
Well, fantastic. The only issue, though, when you have love 40 and you get those chances, you need to take advantage of one of them, because if you let Roger get settled, then you're going to be in strife.
Advantage, Federer. Deuce.
But he's come a long way in a couple of years. Marinko Matosevic, he made his ATP Tour debut here in Brisbane, and he was so nervous he could barely hit a ball in the court. You see him out here tonight against Federer, and he's comfortable. He's going ground stroke for ground stroke. It's taking him a little longer to get comfortable than it does most, but he's a solid player now.
Advantage.
It's about as quick as Federer will serve, 209 k's an hour. To always Very accurate.
Wonderful point. We'll see if we can get this quality throughout the match. Matosevic had a couple of areas to strike. Federer pounces to the open part of the court, though, and what touch that was.
Yeah, had really good backspin on the volley, Federer. Look at him underneath the ball. This is a lunging volley first up to keep him in the point. Quickly recovers his balance. He was very close to the net. Look at him here, and a lob would have been a good option, but he finishes it up here, Federer, with this heavily underspun. Look at him chop down underneath the ball to get that backspin. What a start.
Well, you wonder whether the doubles has been sharpening up that net play for him, because he's through the semi-finals here. The doubles had 2 terrific matches and been serve volleying using that part of the game, and that was very sharp round net then.
Yeah.
Matosevic to serve.
Fitzy, how is it sitting amongst the crowd?
15 love.
You can't beat this atmosphere. You know, it might only be 5,000 people in here, but gee, it's electric, and everyone's has that happy look of anticipation on their faces here. Just delighted to be in the stadium, just to see him. You're right about Marenko. He's as relaxed as he could be, because I think he gets tight when he thinks he might be favourite to win, or he has a golden opportunity. Here he feels relaxed because he thinks there's no pressure on him, no pressure to win. He's hitting the ball like a dream in the first couple of games.
$15, 30.
He's going to need to watch the time violation here. Marenko is taking a lot of time between points. We've already had a couple of warnings for players today.
And so this is why I felt that was just so important. Here is earlier this evening.
$15-40.
Yeah, we've seen him in the gym regularly this week, haven't we? A little bit fortunate perhaps for that forehand. He didn't middle it completely, but it got the desired result. It landed deep, allowed Marenko to get a good net position and a good volley. Still got some work to do here, though, to hold serve.
Well done. Pulls back the 2 break points.
Deuce.
Whoops.
Advantage, Federer.
Well, the serve, Jeff, is a part of the game that Marinko's worked really, really hard on over the last 2 and 3 years. And if you saw where it was, he's been doing that with Mark Woodford there in picture, my old partner of 10 years. Just hasn't quite got the rhythm yet. Ball toss all over the place. So Federer gets the break.
Federer leads 2 games to love.
And the serve just lacking a little bit of rhythm. And what I was going to let you know is that in December, he did quite a little bit of, not a lot, but had sessions with Wayne Arthurs, the great left-handed server of my era.
15 love.
On fluency and hitting that wrist snap and getting the shoulders and everything around. And at breakfast the other morning, I was sitting with him and he pulled out his phone and he's got it all sitting there and continually trying to improve himself.
30 love.
Yeah, the danger in the last service game, I think, of Matosevic, and it's the same for everybody, when you're playing a great player, there's a tendency to try and overserve and lose your rhythm.
I always found it difficult playing against a big server because I tried to match them, which was a disaster.
Yep. Ahmed Laani there in the chair, very experienced professional chair umpire.
40 love. At 40, 15.
He lives it, doesn't he, Mohamed? Enjoys every moment. In fact, I saw him just before the match, was talking to him. He just loves the tournament here, the friendliness, the atmosphere. He's having a ball.
Oh, big second serve from Federer. Matosevic is challenging, but it's a mistake to challenge.
Yes, what is called it?
That line is sitting right in front of our commentary booth, and it's inside of the line, well inside. So game to Federer, and he leads 3 love in the opening set.
And Federer. And Federer leads 3 games to love. Time. Matosevic has 2 challenges remaining.
Marinko and Matosevic had 3 break points in that opening game. Things turned quickly. And Roger Federer on top. 3 love, first set. Matosevic hoping to hold serve and settle here.
Left for service.
That's the shot that kept him
Love
alive. But
15.
Marinko doesn't get to the net quickly enough here. He's only just inside the service line. And of course, this was a very good backhand from Federer. But when you come in, you've got to close the net down a little bit more than that. Marinko gave Federer just too much room by not getting in there quickly enough or close enough.
But one of the things Mark Woodford is trying to impose into the game of Marinko Matosevic is playing more points like this, where he uses the strong ground strokes to set up the net play. The issue that Marinko has with that at the moment is he's not entirely confident in which shot to choose to approach off.
Well, he really needs a couple more good serves and to get on the scoreboard here, because a 4-love deficit would really be a little challenging for Marinko to come back from. It'd be
board, please.
a little panicked by that score. So 3-1 will feel a lot better.
Oh, just... Oh. How does he pick that up? Well, there's the family. There's Merker on the right and the twins.
30 all.
Come out to watch Dad tonight.
Who just holds his ground and half volleys down the line. He makes it look simple. I assure you it isn't.
Just pressing too much.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the balance right.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. The previous approach shot, he hit a pretty good forehand into the corner, and he saw Federer half volley winner down the line. So you immediately think, well, I've got to do more. That's when you make the errors.
Oops.
Todd, what's your feeling with Federer in regard to the bigger-headed racket that he's using? Is it working? Is it a good move?
Well, this week seems to be pretty good, put it that way. I think he's getting just a little more spin and a little more speed into his shot at the moment. Particularly more, it's got a bigger sweet spot. So the other racket he had to hit perfect all the time, which he did. But if you recall, when he hasn't been on, his forehand goes astray and there's quite a few shanks. This may help the forehand.
Rod Laver's been here this week, and he did mention to me just a couple of nights ago that he thought it was a good move, but he really thinks it'll take him, a few more weeks before he really comes to terms with it, and the technique that he's used for so long starts to get used to the extra speed and that comes off that racket.
Oh, there's a double break for Federer. He leads 4-love.
Federer leads 4 games to love. Love 15.
Jeff, you'll appreciate this.
15 all.
In the evening that I was able to host with Roger and Rod, we were talking about rackets because I asked the question about the bigger head and asked Roger, could you imagine that in 1971 when Rod was going into the US Open, he had a contract, super serve and volley, to play with a Chemold racket, which is an aluminium racket, and he didn't like that racket at all, wasn't playing particularly well.
13
and
15.
So he rang his wife up and said, would you just send me the Dunlops over? So he then went straight back to a wooden frame. Roger's only going like 5 square inches bigger.
14,
it's the same
15.
composite. It's all balanced the same. We're talking a massive difference back in those days.
And metal and wood and all sorts of things, and the difference is monumental.
Game.
Federer just firing away, and he's well and truly on top against Matosevic. 5-love.
Federer leads 5 games to love. Time. At 15 love. Love.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that Marinko was pushing the envelope with time between points. 25 seconds is the rule. He's taking a little more time than Roger.
$30-15.
Fitzy up there. There might be a mighty roar if Marinko can hold on here. There must be a feeling of perhaps a little sympathy that you're noticing in the stands.
Well, not necessarily sympathy yet. I think they would rather see it a bit closer, but it's just... And he's got a chance here now, 40-15. But or is Roger going to challenge here? I think he felt it was long, but he didn't challenge there, Jeffrey. But no, not a feeling of sympathy. I mean, everyone's very upbeat in the stand. You know, to the onlooker, this is high quality stuff. They're pounding the ball. I think if it gets to halfway through the second set, and if he hasn't won a game, a bit of sympathy might kick in, but they're all hoping he'll get on the board here.
Game. Matosevic.
At last, he's on the scoreboard.
Federer leads 5 games to 1.
Good play, though, wasn't it, from Matosevic? It was a strategy that Roger Federer wouldn't have been exposed to too often. Someone attacking his second serve and coming in looking to take the initiative. Unfortunately, he didn't get a good hit at one of those volleys, and Federer had time to set up. But a nice ploy.
The other day, talking to Marinko, he was saying how he's gotten used to being on tour level now, and the quality of the ball and the practice that you play against some matches, it just comes back at you that little bit quicker, and you've got to you eventually adjust. But this is another adjustment against how quick the ball comes off the face of the racket of Roger Federer.
40 love.
Especially when he's on song. 4 unforced errors from Federer to 11 winners for this set.
Left. Forty, 15. Game.
What a clean serve tennis from the #1 seed. Federer in 27 minutes, 6-1.
6 game to 1. New balls, please. Time. And second set. Matosevic to serve. At 15 love.
Marinko Matosevic hoping for a better start here in the second set. See if he can get ahead and hold a service game. 3 points help, don't they? Unusual. Federer not getting the ball back into play.
At 30-15.
And the thing you always notice about Roger Federer is he will not be pushed back. Even the depth that Matosevic is hitting the ball, Federer really tries to hug the baseline. He'll hit half volleys time and again rather than be pushed back. That's the way he plays, and quite rightly so. He doesn't want to be dictated to from the back of the court.
On his side as well.
30 on.
You're talking about not being dictated to, but the one shot that he has that I've never seen any other single-hander have is that half volley, fully hit backhand drive that he seems to pick up off his toes. And two-handers can do that, but I've never seen a one-hander with such consistency be able to do what Federer does.
40-30.
It's a really good backhand. Marinka Matosevic stays low, gets all his body weight going forward, steps into the ball. Very solid shot, more consistent than the forehand.
Deuce.
Most of the time.
Well, that's the one that Marinko does miss, the one through the centre of the court. He gets set a little bit early with the feet, because a lot of players would actually try to get the forehand off that side, but he's more comfortable in using the backhand, but he gets a little lazy in getting position.
Advantage, Matosevic.
He hits it well then, and he's on the board. He leads 1-love, second set.
First game, second set.
Can you please have some more water?
Fanatics trying to get the crowd out and behind Marinko. Oh.
Well, I'm not sure what Marinko was thinking here. He had a myriad of choices, and this was the only one that was no good. He just could have smacked this anywhere, and what was that?
Jeff, I think he wasn't thinking. That was the problem.
That was a brain cramp, wasn't it? He deserved to get hit off that shot, actually. Federer should have lined him up.
30.
But he wouldn't do it.
No, but there's a few out there that would. We won't name them. I tell you who would have done it in his day. He's not here this year. He was here last year coaching Andy Murray. That's Ivan Lendl.
Oh, absolutely.
If he had a chance, he would have tried to go after you.
What about you, Fitzy? Would you have gone after him?
He's a lot bigger than me, Jeff. I wouldn't have. You know, a big issue here
13,
for
15.
a player of Marinko's standard against Federer is that, you know, Federer just, he has those extra dimensions, and he does compared to most players. You know, he can win points in so many different ways. Marinko is a great hitter of the ball, but the X factor is not quite the same, so it's very hard for him to finish the point. He has to play an outstanding point in his style, like crush the ball close to the line and do it 3 or 4 times. Then he's got a chance. But Roger can win it in so many different ways.
Oh,
Beautiful
that's amazing.
fake. Yep. A beautiful fake, and
they've seen it all before.
they have. I don't think Marinko's seen this before, though. Federer
14,
shapes up here to hit a
15.
drop shot, and at the last minute, he just then changes his position and attacks it down the line. So he's convinced Matosevic the drop shot is coming. Matosevic runs forward. Federer changes. Brilliant.
Uh, 40-30.
Last play that Federer used, the fake, was something that the great Ili Nastasi used to do a lot. He used to do it more often than to try and make you look a little foolish.
Net for service. Game. Federer.
Federer holds to level at 1-1 in the second.
One game. Like 15 now.
That's the shot there that I think, with the new bigger-headed racket, that Federer hasn't totally got the feel of. You know, he got a little more trajectory on that last ball, but it was more trajectory, I think, than he was used to, and the ball couldn't come down. So that's what he needs to become adjusted.
It's a touch faster off the
Yeah,
strings.
absolutely.
Which, you know, if you haven't played a lot of tennis, you wonder what does that mean. But the ball trampolines off the racket just a little quicker than you're used to. I was going to comment on the difference between how much these two
30
sweat.
down.
And because Federer, he's a bit of a freak in that department. He never looks like he's perspiring. And in some of the hottest conditions.
Well, he trains a lot in Dubai as well, doesn't he? And boy, it doesn't get much hotter than there, so he's not fazed by conditions such as we've had here this week. It's been pretty warm, 37 degrees at one stage today.
Oh. 13-15. Fourteen, 15. 40-30.
That's a play we used to see the great Pete Sampras use quite often. Not necessarily at 40-15 down, but he'd wait till about 4-all in a set and 30-all, and he'd come in with his backhand down the line from that first court. Maybe something that Roger can incorporate a little more.
Mr. Matosevic challenged the call. Right service line. What is call out? Call tennis. Advantage, Federer.
Under huge pressure.
Matosevic has
See by his face, he
challenges.
just doesn't quite know how to construct the point. Federer with the break point.
Point. Just a question.
Deuce.
We can maybe all consider. Obviously, the high bouncing ball to the backhand of Federer, the one-handed player, has been a difficulty for him. Serves. Certainly, obviously, people like Nadal have used that tactic. I wonder if this bigger-headed racket will help in that regard.
Matosevic.
I asked that question because I think in the past when the ball's been up high on Roger's backhand, if he hasn't made a mistake, it's hard to generate a lot of power off that high ball to your backhand. And with this bigger-headed racket, he should be able to generate a little bit more pace, which should help neutralize that sort of attack.
Advantage, Matosevic. Deuce.
Fourth deuce. And they're becoming ever so important for Marinko to try to hang on to this game.
Advantage, Federer.
He's given a look on his face, Jeff, like he's about to faint. That's wide. And Federer has got the break, and he leads by a set and 2-1.
Federer is 2 games to 1. Time.
Well, during this changeover, Marinko Matosevic has had some treatment from the ATP Tour physio, and he said he looked like he was about to faint. Well, Jeff has been getting quite a bit of work on the shoulder. He actually had a bit of a sore shoulder in the end of the season last year, 2013, but wasn't so much the neck. That looked like in a completely different area. Finished the season a little short, a couple of tournaments short, came home early.
Love 15.
Well, if you are going to attempt to hit and come in, you've got to be closer to the baseline and not so wide on court. You've got to come back to the centre and get to the net. You've got to run in on an angle, and you can't do it. So it was not a good decision there from Matosevic to attempt to come forward.
It was a smart shot because he really didn't have any angle, did he?
No, it was the right shot to play, and it's very dangerous to try and drop shots on this sort of surface. And going straight up the middle is a good play, and if the opponent's in the way, that's not an issue. It's not meant to be malicious. It's the right choice of shot. Oh, that's a gem. In a much better position there to go forward because the serve was close to the body of Matosevic. He moved out of the way, so he was almost in the middle of the court here. So he's got a big opportunity to come forward if he needed to, but the return was too good. Outright winner.
(40-30).
I like seeing this, and he recognised it was such a good serve, coming back high in the air, in with the drive volley.
Game, Federer.
Solid service game for Federer, and he's ahead 3-1.
Federer leads 3 games to 1. 15 love.
6 players have been ranked #1 that have been on the Pat Raft Arena today in the schedule. That's a pretty impressive lineup, isn't it?
Well, it is, and no wonder the crowd has been coming out in their droves, and why wouldn't you? It's a fabulous field. To me, again, Matosevic not committed to getting in there quickly enough. There's got to be an urgency to get into the net fast, take the volley, if possible, from inside the service line. Matosevic there half volleying from behind the service line.
At 15-30.
This is racing away all too quick.
At 15-40. Mr. Federer challenge the call, left baseline, ball is calling.
Roger's asking Mark Woodford if that was in or not. It's out, and so it's a double break now for the #1 seed. He leads 6-1 and 4-1.
Federer leads 4 games to 1. At time.
Indeed, well, still a few tickets, not many. They're going fast, but Roger Federer and friends at Rod Laver Arena.
15 up.
On the 8th, if you're in Melbourne and you want to get along and see a great night, jump online now and grab your tickets. Switching off here.
Yeah, he is a little bit, which is disappointing.
30 up.
Just on another issue, you mentioned that the #1's here this week, and we've also had a visit from Rafael Nadal's Uncle Tony here this week. He's been oh, it's good stuff.
That's too good.
Yeah, he's been here giving some lectures to local coaches, which has been extremely well received.
That's fantastic. That's part of the coaching setup that Tennis Australia trying to educate and build the coaching quality throughout the country. Love game for Federer, and a game away from a place in the semis.
Federer leads 5 games to 1.
I believe he's heading down to Melbourne too to go to coaches conference that's held every year at the Australian Open that brings in international guests to speak, but also internationals to come and listen and learn.
Up 15.
Got to try and save a little more face here, Marinko, if he can. Just to up the bit of the body language and really fight hard, even just to hold this service game.
And 15-30.
Federer slice here certainly bites and stays quite low, and Matosevic not getting down to the ball nearly enough.
Well, great defense from Federer, but a sloppy volley, not reacting quick enough to the fact that Federer was so deep in the court, and it brings 2 match points for the #1 seed.
Game, second match, Federer. 2 sets to love.
Well, Federer just
6-1, 6-1.
Through to the semi, 6-1, 6-1 over Marinko and Matosevic.